Hello and welcome to the Scott Sportscast. I am your host, Alexei Scott. Who would have guessed? Well, today is a little bit of more of an introduction video than it is an actual podcast on what we would normally be talking about. Normally, I would have other co-hosts that you'll eventually get to meet. Well, let's start out with a little bit about me. Right now, I am currently living in Fresno, California. A nice, hot valley. Yeah, that's about all I got to say about Fresno. Well, then I was going to the junior college. I just graduated with my ADT, my associate's degree in business administration, and now I'm enrolled. I just started my first week at Fresno State University. Haha, D1. No sports. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Oh, well, what can you do? Just watch what's on TV, I guess. All right, well, let's see. What else about me? Okay, so when I was 13 years old, or when I was 10, I ended up moving to Monterey, California with my father and my stepmom, where I lived for the next 13 years. So I moved from Fresno to Monterey, basically. At 13 years old, I started working at a cinnamon roll shop on Cannery Row, right next to the aquarium. Shout out Lily Mays. Gave this young boy some money. Coming from a poor family, you needed money. And I wouldn't be working at 13 if I didn't need help buying my stuff. So, at the end of the day, what can you do? So I started working there, and then when I was 16, I was diagnosed legally blind with a rare form of juvenile macular degeneration called Stargardt's. So basically, my eyes work very, very limitedly. So if you see me looking close to something or, I don't know, cross-eyed something, just ignore it. You'll be all right. I'm the one that's got to deal with it, not you. So just remember that. Well, then also about that time, I joined the wrestling team at my high school, Seaside High Spartans. Seaside, you know? Thanks, Coach K. Well, there I started wrestling under Coach Russell Sugars. Very good coach. Just really enjoyed my time on the wrestling team. Just getting to hurt people legally, work out some pumped up aggression, all those teenage hormones, whatever you need. But so I ended up wrestling, got really good at it. Then my rookie year, I was top 10 in sections in CCS, and it's a couple matches away from state, so not too shabby. Also, then one season I ended up going 16-0 in Greco-Roman in the Santa Clara Valley. So, I didn't get my chance to go to state because somebody wanted to go camping. But, hey, that's okay. Life goes on. So then after that, about 17, I ended up getting into MMA. I ended up moving out on my own, forcefully moved out on my own. Thanks, Dad. No, shit happens. But you live and you learn and you grow. And that really pushed me to grow even more. And then, so 17, I started doing MMA, working. So I stopped going to school. I had one class left, and I just dropped out and was working. Then shortly after that, I started competing in martial arts. And, oh, man, was it fun. Just getting inside the cage, locking the doors, hear that, meaning it's you or me. only one of us is getting out of this. And it's just the mindset you had to have. You had to feel that you were bulletproof. You had to feel that nobody in the world could touch you, or you're in the wrong sport. It's a crazy mindset you have to be in all the time, and it's not easy to get into it either. Or it's easy to get into it. It's harder to get out. Well, so then I started doing that, and by the time I was 23, I got offered a pro contract, $30,000 6-fight contract. Only problem was couldn't get medically cleared. Should have saw that coming from, what was it, 16, so 7 years. 7 years ago, should have seen that coming. But I didn't. So, hey, what can you do? And so I ended up having to change everything I was doing. I was well set on a path and that I can no longer follow. So I ended up moving back to my hometown to get away from all the distractions, all the good times. But, oh man, was there good times. Shoot, Humboldt, one of my first fights, lost a split decision, fight of the night. Everybody thought I won that fight except for 2 people. And those 2 people just so happened to be 2 out of the 3 judges. So, well, what can you do? I mean, arguably a 10-8 round for me the first round. Dropped him twice and had him in a deep submission at the end. And tagged him up in the second round. It was a little close, but third round I gassed. So, hey. My very last fight was in Salt Lake. Not Salt Lake. It was at the Davis Center in Layton, Utah. And that fight went a little better. I won, got a arm triangle. First minute and 13 seconds of the first round. So, not a bad way to end your career. Go out on a win, you know. Choke somebody out and be happy. So then I ended up moving back, and I had all of this knowledge, all of this passion, and all of this keen eye just for things that just weren't applying. And that's the toughest part, is not being able to apply what you love and what you're good at, because it's not for everybody and it's not for all situations. Well, so I was like, you know what? I'll just get a good paying job. I'll go back to school, finish up, get a bachelor's degree in business, be done with it. Well, then going through all of my general ed classes, taking all the bullshit that you don't really want to take, like political science, geology, all these other math classes, and things that just only certain people are going to need. Well, I discovered that, hey, you know what? If I can't work as an athlete, what's a way where I could work with athletes? My own similar mindset, you know? Well, then I realized, like, hey, Fresno State offers sports marketing. I was like, sell sports stuff, promote sports teams, and all that good stuff. Yeah, sign me up. And then what better way, actually, to practice than starting your own sports podcast and trying to market and getting a first-hand experience on what everything's going to be like and what to expect, just so you don't go in as as blind as me, which, you know, I do everywhere. Well, so, I mean, outside of the only things I missed was me being a wrestling coach, which was just amazing, watching the kids just develop and grow and figure it out. It's hardest thing to do nowadays is just to get kids to focus on any task. So just to see them focus on something hard and then understand and apply it, it's one of those feelings that's hard to beat. Well, maybe one day in the future we'll be able to get back to coaching some stuff like that. Other than that, I was just about a purple belt under Master Joe Morera, who that guy is amazing. Love that guy. My friend. Hello, my friend. Yes, very Brazilian. Love it. And so enough about me. We'll have plenty of other times to talk about me, and probably a little too many times to talk about me. But so what to expect on this show? This show is the Scott Sportscast. This is a sports talk show with kind of more of a network with a couple little small segments, each about an hour long. First segment we have is for our WWE wrestling fans out there. I see 45 million people subscribed to the WWE YouTube page, so I know you're out there. Well, we have a segment called Step Inside the Squared Circle, where we go over events, past Raws, SmackDowns, Nexus, and watch-alongs where we commentate the pay-per-views. So if everything goes swimmingly, Saturday or Sunday will be our first one with SummerSlam here. Our second segment is called the Scott Sportscast Fantasy Football League. This is an 8-man fantasy football league where we draft live for you guys. We show you updates and give you your fantasy football advice. Whenever we have everything set up, you'll be able to either send your questions to us, either email or Twitter. And if you got a question we like, we'll go ahead, pluck it, shout you out, and give you an answer. Do things like stardom, sit-ems, the usual stuff when it comes to fantasy football, waiver wire pickups. So that'll be a fun one for all of us football fans out there. As you can tell, bear down, baby. And so then the fourth or the third podcast, whatever I'm on now, is the MMA Coaches Corner. This is the one for all of you UFC, Bellator, MMA fans out there. What we like to do is go ahead and do watch-alongs where we break down in depth what the fighter's doing wrong, how they can correct it, and what their strategy should be moving forward. We break down and do more of an analytical sense to it. So that one's going to be a very fun one. And then we'll also give our predictions and all that good stuff on all your favorite fighters. The last segment that we have is just the Scott Sportscast League, or the Scott Sportscast, where we give you your weekly updates on NBA and NHL, basketball, football, everything that you need, with all the top news, trades, new contracts being signed. Whenever a player drops his shoes, like I'm waiting on them Jason Tatum shoes, boy. That kid's something else. But so that one's going to be more for your overall sports news. And like I said, we'll usually have more co-hosts and everything. Especially for all of you NBA and NFL fans. I'd love to hear who your guys' favorite teams are. And, if I get enough of people that want to hear their team covered, I'll go ahead and do a little extra on them, Just supply and demand. But I can't read your minds, so you got to let me know. Help me help you. Well, other than that, so we'll kind of go over my favorite teams are the Boston Celtics, the Chicago Bears. And hockey, I don't really have a favorite team. I really do like the Golden Knights, and I do like the Blackhawks, which, sorry, Blackhawks fans. Vegas is just too big, too strong, too fast, too agile, too everything. They're a different animal, so be careful. Careful anybody that wants to go against Vegas. It's going to be tough. Well, a couple of the other teams that the other co-hosts have favorites are the Houston Texans, Oklahoma Thunder, the Philadelphia Eagles, my damn wife who's a freaking Green Bay Packers fan. Packers, go Packers, go Packers, go Packers. Just kidding. Bear down. But so we'll have a lot of fun on here, and once we get everything rolling, all of these will make more sense, and you'll start to see how we have this set up. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick introduction on who your host is, my credentials, because, why listen to someone if you don't know if they've ever even done it? So just know I've been in there, got kicked, punched, hit, kneed in the head plenty of times. So I paid my dues. But we also have someone on here who's an MMA cut man as well. And so one of these days we'll have some interesting interviews and stories to come out, and little special occasions. Well, if we want to talk a little bit about sports, since, hey, that's the whole reason why you're here, right? I don't think you picked it because it said Scott. I think you picked it because it said sports. But, hey, I could be wrong. Flatter me. Maybe not. All right, well, let's see. Well, Boston just took a 2-0 lead. I like that. They threw everything they had. Every single thing they had throwing at them was working. They switched. I seen them in a 1-2-2. I seen them in a 2-3. I seen them in man-to-man. And no matter what Philly tried to do, it was the wrong move. And that's what you want to see from a team who actually plays defense just as well as they play offense. And I'm looking at you Lakers fans. Learn some defense. You can't just have Anthony Davis do all the blocking. But anyways. So they take that 2-0 lead, which is nice. And I'm excited to see them play tomorrow. Try to get that 3-0 advantage on them. Especially without Ben Simmons. It's just really hurting them. Really hurting them. Let's see. Toronto. What's up? You know what? I missed the ones today. So, you know what? Hey, I was setting all this up. So, we'll bring you more updates on that after. But hockey, you got the Vegas Golden Knights going to the next round, which is going to be interesting to see who they play. And, so we'll have more updates on that for you later. But UFC events coming up tonight, or on Saturday night, we have the fight night with Pedro and Muniz and Frankie Edgar. That's going to be a good fight, but the rest of the undercard's pretty much guys trying to climb. I mean, you got OSP versus Rodriguez, which Rodriguez has been on a tear, so if he wants to make a name, that's the guy, but don't ever count OSP out. He can knock you out, or he can submit you if you get caught napping. That's no tough task. But Frankie Edgar coming off, what was it, 2 losses? He just got knocked out. And then he's coming and fighting a powerful dude. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I like Frankie Edgar in this one, but I don't know if I could put money on him. I'm going to have to go with Pedro on that one. Well, other than that, that should pretty much wrap it up for this episode. Stay tuned for more episodes. Like I said, we'll have a bunch of different segments coming out soon. So just hold your horses and get ready, because September 5th we'll have the fantasy draft, and we're going to have a lot. SummerSlam this weekend, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. After the whole worldwide thing, it's nice to see some things are getting back to normal. And so, signing off for now. Until the next episode, we'll catch you guys later.